Hey guys, it's Jess from Madden Crafts, and today I'm going to be showing you how I made my mom an oversized sign with my brand new Cricut Explore 3. So a while back my mom asked me to make a sign for their house using an old fence board that she'd gotten from a friend. I'd been kind of putting off the project because the fence board was 5 feet long by 5.5 inches wide, which meant it was going to be a lot of work. Usually for a project like this, I would use my Cricut Maker, but because you have to use a mat with the Cricut Maker, the longest that you can cut is about a little less than 24 inches, which means in order to do a 5-foot long project, I would have to break it up into sections. And then you have the hassle of piecing all the design together and making sure everything's straight and aligned and doesn't cut in the middle of a word. You can do it, but it's a little bit of a hassle. I'd also thought about making it with my Cricut Joy, because Cricut Joy uses smart materials so you can cut up to 20 feet long. But the board, remember, is 5.5 inches wide, and the largest that you can cut with the Cricut Joy is a little less than 5 inches, which means that could look a little bit puny within the whole length of the board. So I was kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. That's where my new toy comes in. Enter the Cricut Explore 3. This is Cricut's newest machine in their Explore line. They previously had the Explorer and the Explorer Air 2, and now they've got the Explorer 3. Like the Cricut Explorer before it, it cuts a wide range of materials, but the new feature that I'm really excited about is the fact that the Explorer 3 cuts smart materials just like the Joy did. But because it is a larger machine, now those smart materials can be up to 12 inches wide. Suddenly I had a solution to my mom's sign project. I had a machine that could cut materials that are plenty long and plenty wide for my project. I designed the project for my mom and loaded that image into Cricut Design Space. I set the project to cut, selected smart materials from the list, and selected no mat cutting. And that is the really cool thing about smart materials, because while you can cut them on a mat, they are designed to work with the Explorer 3, the Maker 3, or the smaller Joy machine without needing a mat. To go along with these brand new machines, Cricut has released a line of huge rolls of vinyl, removable, permanent, and iron-on. Some of them go up to 30 feet in length. That's a lot of material to be working with all at once, and I was a little concerned about having a roll of material kind of unfurling in my craft room and causing a mess. But Cricut thought of that. When they released the new Maker 3 and Explorer 3, they also released this roll holder. And if you're going to be doing large-scale projects with smart vinyl, this is a must-have. The roll holder snaps onto the front of your machine and cradles your big roll of vinyl so that it stays in one spot while you're working. All you need to do is thread that roll of smart material into the top of the roll holder and then feed it into your machine like you normally would. The special rollers within the roll holder will keep the roll moving as much as it needs to for your project, but that whole roll of vinyl won't start unspooling while you're trying to work. These new Cricut machines were designed for larger projects, which means you're going to be cutting a lot of material at once, whether you're doing a really long sign like I did, or you're doing a big scale project like you're making 20 iron-on shirts for a family reunion. That's a big project. So here's the next benefit of these new machines. When you are cutting smart materials with one of these new machines, they cut 2 times faster than a normal machine. That's right, you can cut your cutting time in half. And when you're doing a big project, you know how much time that can save you. I loaded the permanent vinyl into my machine for my project, and I started it going. When you're doing a long project like this, the first thing your machine will do is make sure you have enough vinyl. So it will start threading all that vinyl through the machine to gauge whether you have enough to complete your project, and if you don't, then it will give you an error. You can see here that even though my machine is spooling through 5 feet of vinyl, that roll doesn't get messy, it doesn't go all over my craft room because the roll holder holds it right in place. Once the software had determined I had enough vinyl to complete my project, it was time to start cutting. And I want you to keep an eye on the time on my phone when I start this project. I want you to watch how fast this machine is cutting. I have not sped up this portion of the video at all. Before I knew it, my project was done cutting. Look at that time. It took about 2.5 or 3 minutes to cut a design that was 5 feet in length. After I'd unloaded the vinyl from my machine, it was time to use the other really cool feature of the roll holder. You just pull the vinyl back through the top of the roll holder, make sure that your entire design is through the end, and then you can use the handy paper trimmer to give your vinyl a nice clean edge at the bottom. Then just grab your roll of vinyl out of the roll holder and slip it right into the box that it came in. It makes storing your vinyl so much easier. Now remember, my design for my mom's sign was only about a little over 5 inches wide. That means I have about 6 or 7 inches of excess vinyl on that 5-foot length that I just cut. Don't worry, that smart vinyl is not going to go to waste. I won't be able to use it as smart vinyl anymore because you need to have the full width in order for the machine to read it without a mat, but you can use smart vinyl just like regular vinyl on a mat. Put it on a 12-inch or a 24-inch mat and don't let that vinyl go to waste. Now it was time to weed my design, and I was a little bit nervous because if you mess up weeding a huge project and you have to cut the whole thing again, it's such a waste of vinyl. As it turns out, I didn't need to worry. Smart vinyl weeds very easily. The one tip that I do have when you're ever working on a large project is if there comes a part where you can cut away any of the excess vinyl, you should do it. If you're working with a big wad of excess vinyl, there's a chance that you could accidentally snag it on part of your actual design and pull it up, and that makes a huge mess. If only I could weed this fast in real life. I mentioned earlier that Cricut has released larger rolls of vinyl to go with these new machines. They've also released large rolls of transfer tape so you can transfer entire large designs in one go. After I had weeded my entire design, I applied a long strip of transfer tape. I worked slowly and carefully to make sure that I was keeping the transfer tape straight on my design. Next, I used a Cricut scraper tool to make sure that the vinyl was adhering well to the transfer tape. Since my mom's sign project was too big for my work table, I headed outside to begin the process of transferring the vinyl onto the wood. I was a little bit nervous that it would be difficult to make the vinyl transfer on such a large project, but it actually worked really well. I moved slowly and worked in small sections, making sure that the design always stayed straight. Once my design was down on the wood, I carefully and slowly peeled away the transfer tape to reveal my mom's new sign. I am really happy with how it turned out. Have any of you guessed what my mom requested be put on her giant sign? If you know what this means, leave it in the comments below. So that was my first impression of my new Explore 3 machine. I have nothing but good things to say about it so far. Are there any features of this new machine that you'd like me to explore a little farther? Or any kinds of projects you'd like to see the machine try to make? Let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Please give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new. Hit subscribe if you aren't already. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my new videos. Visit me on my blog, manandcrafts.com. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Bye!